Every season starts the same way. Long practices, big goals, a lot of confidence. But somewhere along the way, things change. You take losses, you get hurt, you start doubting yourself, and at some point it stops being about hype or rankings or what people expect from you. It becomes about seeing how much you're really willing to fight through. Over the last few months, I've had weeks where I felt unstoppable and weeks where I felt completely stuck. But every practice, every match, every setback has led here. The regular season is over. There are no more tune-ups. No more waiting for next week. This is the postseason. One last run with the team. One last chance to prove how far I've come. And one last chance to leave something behind. This is the finale. Coming off my conference win, I knew I would need to be the sharpest I had ever been if I was going to make it to Des Moines. Enter the fantastic Mr. Trendy, a former college standout who stepped into the room to make sure my performance was as good as my mindset.
Hey, Coach Trendy here. Hey, Matt, we're a week out of districts. We're gonna get a good little spar scrap in here. Get app ready to roll. Get the district title.
We went hard and put the extra work in to get me ready for the tournament. The team also took a trip to a neighboring school for a joint practice. I got some great work done with some of their guys, so shout out to them. The weekend of districts came extremely quickly, and it was time to see if the extra work would be enough to overcome two ghosts of my past. An opponent from Durant, whom I had faced last year, and the same wrestler from Belle Plaine who knocked me out of the running last year and beat me a few weeks ago at the Tripoli Invitational. But first, I would have to take care of my round 1 opponent. I came out strong and hit a hard slide by immediately. I then drove him over for near fall, but wasn't able to get the pin. I rode him out for the rest of the period, then chose down in the second. After some lateral movement, I switched him and went straight to looking for my cradle. Once he brought up his inside leg, I was able to lock it up and put him away. For my semifinal match, I was up against the Durant wrestler, and I was anxious but excited at the same time. As a result, I wrestled extremely conservatively, but still slowly stalked forward. As we got close to the edge, the intensity picked up until I took a shot. He was able to defend it though, and we started moving back toward the center. I attempted a quick slide by, but transitioned into a double leg where I caught both of his ankles. Unfortunately, we went out of bounds, so I didn't get the takedown. As I went back to restart, Halsey said I needed to pick up the pace even more. I came forward constantly and defended his shot attempt. He clung to my leg as I was going behind. After I hooked his leg, I used my head as a lever and crunched a cradle. He let go and built up to a hip in an attempt to defend, but once he was propped up, there was nothing stopping me from rolling him through. I hit it hard and fast, getting the pin right before the buzzer. With this win, I was now in the finals, practically securing my spot in the state tournament.
But anyway, didn't feel very good going into it. I was being a bit slow. Didn't give up anything, but Halsey was telling me to crank it up a notch or whatever. So we went back to the center and I just went like, I don't know, like I was wrestling Trendy or Hudson or Tiernan or someone. And got in, or he tried to shoot or something, and good defense, locked up a cradle, put him away. So one left, the Belle Plaine guy again. So looking to improve on last time at Tripoli. See if we can't make some waves. So that'll be it for now. Adios.
For the district finals, I broke out the gold and white singlet for my shot at the title. We were a bit slow to start, but then he launched a knee pick, and we ended up in a front headlock position. He then shucked me by for a takedown. I worked to my feet and kicked away. Back in neutral, he tried to go front headlock again, but we went out of bounds before anyone scored. On the restart, I went looking for my slide by. I partially got it, but ended up in a Merkle position. I full sent the roll, but we both kept our hips down, so no one scored, and we had to reset. He chose down and quad potted up to his feet to extend his lead. He went for an inside trip, got to a single, and scored a takedown. I got another escape and went for a shot as time expired. I started down in the third, but swiftly escaped. He got in on a double, but I scrambled as soon as I hit the ground and got a stalemate. I went for another shot on the edge, but to no avail. In the last few seconds, he dove for my ankle and held on until time expired, beating me 7-3. I closed the gap, but didn't quite get what I was after. Fortunately, the way the losers bracket finished up guaranteed that I had qualified for state. After districts, it was back into the room for a little while before we headed down to Des Moines. I worked with Trendy some more before we went off to Grandview for our last practice of the year. Early the next morning, we had weigh-ins, and since I was seeded 14th, I would have at least 2 matches to start my state run. My round 1 opponent was the guy from Trainer that I wrestled at I-35 a few weeks ago, and he wouldn't be the only rematch I would have. We started with low stances and aggressive hand fighting. He tried an underhook throw-by, a knee pick, and then a fireman's. I defended all of them, scrambled, and got to a counterattack, scoring the first takedown of the match, and ultimately riding him out for the period. I chose down in the second and quickly escaped. Then, after a bit more hand fighting, I shot a double, but my arms were high and wide, enabling him to easily throw me to my back for 6. I got another escape to close the gap 6-5 going into the third period. He chose neutral in the third. He took a poor shot and I went behind to score, putting me ahead 8-6. I rode him out for the rest of the match to win, narrowly moving on. Next up, I had the 3 seed of the tournament, and it was an exciting match to say the least. The scoring started after he secured my legs in a long scramble on the edge of the mat. Back in the middle, I hit a switch and rolled through when he tried to cover me. I was set up nicely for a cradle, and I quickly snatched it and rolled him through. Unfortunately, I didn't get any near fall and we went out of bounds. With about 10 seconds left, he tried to switch and kept moving, getting away right before time ran out. I chose to go down in the second period and quickly got away. He grabbed a Russian arm tie, stepped through, and then did a Jonesy tilt. He definitely caught me in a position that I wasn't familiar with, but I did my best to keep my hips up, and ultimately only gave up 3. He tried to lock up a cradle on me, but I wasn't about to let that happen. As he tried to roll, I stopped him clean on his back, but for whatever reason, I didn't score at all, even though he was stuck for about 10 whole seconds. As we continued scrambling though, I was able to catch him in a different position for a reversal and for a near fall. And to finish it all off, I locked up a cradle right after for the pin. This was a huge upset and landed me in the quarterfinals for day 2. In the quarters, I continued my dominance through most of the match until I made a tragic mistake late in the third period. I had been leading the scoring and was up 8-4 without much time left, when my opponent shot in on my legs. In my mind, I thought the score was 8-7, and that if he scored a takedown, he would be up 8-10. And because of that, I tried my best to switch or scramble, but he caught me and stuck me, even though I would have been okay to give up the takedown. This loss was maybe the hardest pill I've ever had to swallow, and even though I could stew on that defeat forever, I had no time to. That loss landed me in the blood round, a do-or-die environment where the loser would be sent home. If I lost again, I'd end up watching from the stands again, and all my hard work would be for nothing. So I faced the pressure and took on my opponent from Riceville. With my tournament life on the line, I battled. We hand-fought until the last 20 seconds of the first period, when he attempted a shot, and I re-attacked with a fireman's carry for 3 points. I went down in the second and got a quick escape. I made sure to stay in good position without forcing or rushing anything. As time started to tick down again, he went for a desperation headlock, but I slipped my head and covered for 3 more points. In the third period, he went down and eventually escaped. However, when he took his last bad shot, I went around for 3 more, ending the match 10-1, securing my spot on the podium. Now that I had guaranteed a spot on the podium, any win would get me closer to 3rd, while a loss would immediately slate me for 7th to 8th. And, as luck would have it, my next match would once again be the guy from Belle Plaine. Right away, he got a takedown, and almost pinned me. But I got away, only giving up 7. We went out of bounds, enabling me to get out easily once we reset. He elbowed past me though, and got another takedown. I got another escape, ending the second period 10-2. In the third, he got an escape for another point. I went for a slide by into a Merkle combo since it almost worked last time I faced him, but unfortunately, he got a reversal, making it 14-5. In the final seconds, I got an escape, tried to throw, but there just wasn't enough time. With this defeat, I would have to go for 7th the next day. And to make it all even better, my 7th place match would be another rematch. This time against the guy from Sumner Fredericksburg, whom I had beat for 3rd at Tripoli. It was a nail-biter last time, so I was feeling the pressure and prepared for the worst. This was the last high school match of my career, but it still began with the same whistle, just as all the others. I focused on wrestling smoothly and flowing, just as I would with any other match. So when he shot a single, I naturally hit a switch and locked up my signature cradle. I held him for 7, and while I didn't pin him, it was a small sign to myself that I could do it. That I had what it took. When he tried to attack, I defended excellently, flowed right into my reattacks, and scored 2 more takedowns, plus an escape, to win my last match 14-2. And just like that, it was over. One last whistle, one last handshake, one last walk off the mat. I didn't win a state title. I made mistakes I'll probably think about for a long time. And there are definitely matches I wish I could have back. But at the same time, I can honestly say I gave this season everything I had. From the rough weeks early on, to finally building momentum late in the year, this season taught me a lot more than just how to wrestle better. It taught me how to stay composed under pressure, how to respond after setbacks, how to keep showing up even when things weren't going the way I wanted. And none of it would have happened without the people around me. Huge thank you to Halsey, Trendy, Dean, Brody, and Sarge for everything you guys poured into me this season. The extra practices, the film, the advice, the tough conversations, the belief, all of it mattered more than you probably know. Getting to work with guys like that every day was something special. And honestly, getting to finish the season at the Casey Center, make the podium, and even get an awesome picture with David Carr still doesn't feel fully real. But more than medals or wins, I think what I'll remember most is the journey itself. The practices, the bus rides, the nerves before matches, and the moments where things finally clicked. 4 years goes by really fast. And now, for the first time in a long time, wrestling season is over. Thank you guys for following the journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Remember to smile and get something to drink.